morning everyone. Aloha. おはようございます。Today is June 14th, Sunday, and last week we had live stream Taishoji service. So thank you for watching the video. And today we will have our live stream Sunday service. And during today's Dharma talk, so our deacon Jigaku Takenouchi gives a Dharma talk and service about 30 minutes. So during the service, so let us convey our feeling to Buddha and cultivate our Zen mind and Buddha mind. At first, we will have the Zen meditation for 1 minute. Raise your hand together in gassho and bow. Thank you very much. Next, we will have sound Tai bow 3 times to Buddha. 17, Vandana Kisarwana. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Om Ekjigin Jigsaten One, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one, Buddha Sarana Gacchami, Dhamma Sarana Gacchami, Sangha Sarana Gacchami. I go to the Buddha for my death. I go to the Dhamma for my death. I go to the Sangha for my death. Namu Kie Butsu, Namu Kie O, Namu Kie So. Next, page 33, Makahanya Paramita Shingyo.
この功徳をもってあまねく一切に及ぼし、我らと主情と皆共に仏道を上善ことを。
Next, page 248, 248, Creed. Embraced by the Buddha's boundless compassion, we shall attain a peaceful state of mind and enjoy a life of tranquility. Having confidence in the Buddha's most excellent teachings, we shall attain a clear state of mind and enjoy a life of purity. Following the Buddha's example to avoid discrimination and to be mutually harmonious, we shall transcend the distinctions between self and others and enjoy a life of peace. Next page, 249, verse of three treasures. Although it is hard to be born into human life, now we are living it. Although it is difficult to hear the teachings of the Blessed One, now we hear them. However, if we are not awakened in this present life, we may continue to struggle in the midst of ignorance. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depths of the teaching and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we always one accord live the life of harmony and peace. Even throughout eternity, hard it is to hear such excellent and profound teachings. Now we are able to hear and receive them. Let us endeavor to understand the Buddha's teachings. Next, 234, 234, Soto Shuka. singing. The next Dharma message by Deacon Jigaku Takenouchi.
Good morning, everyone. Ohayo gozaimasu. So, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate that we can still find ways to stay connected during all these times where we've been forced to isolate from each other, and that you choose to give some of that time to me as well today as we speak a little bit about our Buddhist teachings. So, I want to touch up on current events, a little bit about what's going on in the world. I know that we get bombarded with a lot of news out there. I just think that it's important to always keep the right mindset when we think about what's happening in the world. So right now in the United States, there's a lot of civil unrest, and that unrest has been spreading to other countries as well, where we're seeing others protesting with the injustice to the human condition, the suffering due to racism, and other factors. So right now is a really good time for me to introduce someone that you've probably heard of before, and that is Kannon-sama, or Kanzeon Bosatsu. So Kanzeon Bosatsu is the bodhisattva of compassion that represents all the suffering in the world, and this is a being who vowed to free us from that suffering and to ease everyone's existence here and allow us to achieve enlightenment with their assistance. So Kanzeon-sama, or Kanzeon Bosatsu, I had to do some research to figure out why the name was so important and what it meant. So the kanji, or that blue character there for kan, is to hear. So Kanzeon hears everything. The ze in this world means Kanzeo can hear everything that's going on in this world, mostly the cries and the suffering. And on is the character for pain or horrors. So Kanzeon hears everything in the world, hears all the suffering in the world, and has vowed to stay behind and not attain full Buddhahood and leave this plane to go on to their Buddha realm, so that we can all achieve that enlightenment and our suffering and all go together to the Buddha world. So Kanzeon believes that we are all in this together. Kanzeon wants to be here for us, and we should also be here for each other, especially now during these times. So there's a lot of different, interpretations of Kannon-sama, and it takes on many different forms. And I wanted to talk about three that are really popular right now, or not now, but three that have been popular throughout history. And the first one that I wanted to talk about today was going to be Senju Kannon. Now, Senju Kannon is the 1,000 armed Kannon-sama. And in each of Kannon's hands are objects that will help us on our way to liberation. So it could be a vial of medicine, it could be an arrow, anything to ease our suffering in this world. This Kanzeon has something in its arsenal that is going to represent that. Maybe today it's a simple phone call that might ease our suffering. So in the future we might see a Kanzeon-sama statue with a cell phone in one of their hands. The second Kannon that I wanted to introduce you today is Sho Kannon. Now, Sho Kannon is the sacred Kannon, and we actually have one here at Taishoji over in our Kannon-do. If you have a chance to look at it, I didn't take a picture of her, but this Kanzeon holds a lotus flower that has been unopened, and that lotus flower is our unrealized enlightenment. And Kanzeon is holding on to that enlightenment for us until we're ready to leave the suffering of this world and achieve enlightenment. On the other hand, it's outstretched to us, letting us know that Kanzeon is there when we're ready to accept Kanzeon's assistance in achieving enlightenment and easing our suffering. The third and the last kannon that I'm going to talk about today is Juichimen kannon. Now, it might be kind of hard to see from home, but this specific kannon has a crown on their head, and on that crown, it has 10 faces. And a lot of different interpretations are out there, but one of them says that this kannon has eyes in all directions, so that where suffering is happening, she will be aware of it, and she will go and help you ease that suffering. Another interpretation says that these heads represent different emotions that lead to suffering, and towards the front you have 3 smiling kannon, and towards the back you have 3 frowning kannon. And in the back kannon, it's basically you walking your way towards achieving enlightenment and liberation. At the very center of the crown, there is Amida Buddha, and this Buddha is just a realization that by following the Dharma or the Fourfold Way, that we can all achieve enlightenment and end our suffering. So, the reason I wanted to talk a little bit about Kannon today is because Kannon vowed to save all beings, and Kannon gave up what we would probably consider the greatest treasure, which is leaving the cycle of samsara and the suffering, to make sure that we can all achieve enlightenment and all stop our suffering. So right now, with everything that's going on in the world, we have to remember to be connected and be with each other. We might not be able to fully understand someone's suffering, but we can have empathy and we can try to understand. We can have doji. We can follow the Buddhist teachings and the Bodhisattva's vows to help each other. I want to sometimes think of myself and us as one of those 1,000 arms from our earlier Kannon, Senju Kannon statue. So Kannon has items in each hand to assist in liberation and ending the suffering. But does it necessarily have to be an item? We are all vehicles of that great compassion. We are all capable of it. We might be an instrument of Kannon-sama's great compassion reaching to us so that we may help ease the suffering of our fellow man. One of the things that I found really interesting about Kannon-sama, or Kanzeon Bosatsu, is that Kanzeon, or its original name as she was known, was Avalokiteshvara, from the Buddhist tradition when it first initiated, or started rather, in India. And it was pictured as a male character, and then as it traversed through Asia, it became a female character, or Kanzeon Bosatsu, or Kuan Yin for Chinese traditions. And what I think is so interesting about this is that this one being who is now portrayed more in an androgynous form can represent so many of us in this life today. So Kanzeon not only speaks to the compassion of all human beings as we see ourselves, but as we see each other. And what I found interesting about this was that right now there's so many different movements happening in the world. There's Black Lives Matter, there's gender equality, there's the aggressions against transgendered people. And to me, this is really important because we're all causing each other suffering due to delusions. And we have to end these delusions that one race is superior to another or one gender is superior to the other. We are all equally balanced, and without each other, we cannot proceed to enlightenment and towards salvation. So Kanzeon Bosatsu had a gender change. And I think Kanzeon Bosatsu is a great representation of the fight that's going on right now with the transgendered crimes that are happening in the world. So I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, that Kanzeon, or the spirit of compassion, isn't male, isn't female, it's everyone. And we have to do our part now here through our own means to bring about that salvation for everyone and to help each other ease our suffering. So today, before I leave you, I just wanted to remind you again about the 4 Bodhisattva vows and that we should practice them. It's an unattainable goal, but one that we should always strive for. When I go out into the world, when I go out to work, I always think about all my friends that are on the mainland and how they're at protests right now, how they've been treated unfairly, how they continue to be treated unfairly, and what I can do about it. So for me, here in Hawaii, I can pray, and I pray to Kanzo and Bosatsu to ease their suffering and to bring peace to the world so that we can all together attain the Buddha way and ease each other's suffering. Thank you so much for spending some time with me on Sunday and listening to a few words. I really appreciate the time we have together, and it warms my heart to know that so many of you are out there watching and listening and learning the Buddha way together. Thank you.
Okay. So next is page 18, show me.
Namu Shakamuni Shakamuni Namu Shakamuni Shakamuni Namu Shakamuni Butsu. Sampai, vow 3 times to Buddha.
This concludes our live streaming Sunday service. The next service is July. No, not July. So next Sunday in June. So same time 9 o'clock. So we still have the live streaming service. The next Sunday service, I will give a Dharma talk. So please join us. So have a good day. Mahalo.